Good day, ladies and gentlemen. Is VeChain ready to explode and retest all-time highs? Well, in this video, we're going to run through some technical analysis, talk about what I see happening both short-term and long-term, and talk about what I see the next big move for VeChain is. So, if you like the sound of that, folks, do me a favor, do yourself a favor, like, subscribe, comment, and share, and hit that bell icon notified of new uploads. Because while I do not have it on this chart here, I was telling our Discord members, if we could have not broken out from the 355 range during this pump, this range over here, just above 2.5, just around 2.5, is where I would be looking to accumulate VeChain. And if you'd been following the channel, and if you would have gotten in there, oh, I just moved my, that's okay. If you would have gotten in there, you could have been up well over 75% on VeChain. So folks, like, subscribe, comment, share, hit that bell icon notified of new uploads. So, lots to talk about with VeChain in the short term here, folks. Bottom line is we were in this descending triangle. I should now actually put this as a green line here. So we flipped this range here from resistance now into support. So we broke above a descending triangle. I've highlighted what I believe are some very key areas to look out for. Mainly, I think the most critical support area for VeChain is the 200 EMA on the 6 hour. So we're currently at the 6 hour here. This white line is the 200 EMA. Here's support, here's support, here's support. Even if we zoom back further, here's support, here's support. The 200 EMA on the 6 hour has constantly, even here, been acting as extremely relevant, extremely strong support for VeChain. So if we start to fall below the 200 EMA on the 6 hour, I would be worried that VeChain is no longer short-term bullish. I think the 200 EMA lines up perfectly with the original breakout point from this ascending triangle at around 355. If that doesn't hold, I think our next stop is 343 to about 33, I'd say. And if that does not hold, I'd say, around 3 cents to 2.8 cents is where I would be looking to place my buy orders for VeChain, where I would expect VeChain to find support if we broke down. Now, to understand whether we're likely to see bullish continuation or bearish continuation here in the short term, I believe there are two very important ranges that we need to be aware of to understand what the next big move is for VeChain. That being the 200 EMA, I believe is going to act as critical support. The 200 EMA just above 4 cents, just in between 4 cents and just below 4.1. So about 4.15, around this, 4.1, I'd say, to about 402 is strong support for VeChain. Just basically the 200 EMA on the 4 hour here acting as support moving forward. And if you go to the 3 hour, 3 hour 100 EMA on the 3 hour acting as resistance, as well as the 200 EMA on the 2 hour acting as resistance. So bottom line is I bring up these two EMAs, these different EMAs, because we're right now VeChain is stuck right in between strong support and strong resistance in a very tight range. So for the short term, I believe we're just likely to move in this range until we break out of this tight range here and pick a direction. Once we pick a direction, once we break out of this tight range here, I believe whatever way we break out of that range, we're very likely to trend in that direction for quite some time. If we can break out bullishly and get above and hold above 4.4, I think retesting, I'd say 4.6 to 4.7 is kind of the next stop. We can see how here and here we're constantly getting rejected off the 4.6 to 4.7 range. So if and when we can tackle this range and hold above it, I think we're going to get pretty close to all-time highs. I think we're definitely seeing, just over 5 cents, right about 5.5 cents from 5.2 to 5.3. I think it's going to be strong resistance. That is the VPVR point of control as resistance. A lot of volume being traded in these regions here. So this region is going to act as strong resistance, in my opinion. If and when we can get above and hold above these regions here, I think it's just a matter of time before we tackle 6 cents. And probably if and when we can hold 8 cents, I'd wager that our next major impulse brings us to about 8 cents here. So let's take a look at our indicators to try to get a sense of what the next big move for VeChain is here. So let's begin by looking at the daily. So the daily histogram is on the way up. Weighted MACD, bullish crossover on the way up. Stochastic RSI on the way up. Stochastic RSI is great for understanding shifts and trends. We had the bullish crossover right around these regions. Weighted MACD acts as a leading indicator on the regular MACD. Bullish crossover on the way up. I'm noting something very interesting on the RSI. So we are in downtrend on the RSI. The RSI is concerning, although we're kind of in the neutral region, having a bit of a leg up. So daily is starting to see some strength. Let's take a look at the 12 here. Ooh, look at that, folks. Look at that. we had a bullish crossover on the 12-hour MACD. Now, it doesn't seem to be super strong. It doesn't seem to be very convinced of its strength. So we'll really, I think the thing that will lead us to see continuation of this bullish crossover is if we can hold that EMA here at the just above 4 cents. So that's a very important, strong support level for VeChain. Weighted MACD starting to curve down, might have a bearish crossover. Stochastic RSI seems to really want to have that bearish crossover. If we have that bearish crossover, that is very bad news bears, very no bueno. Now, I want to point out something interesting on the RSI, which is, I believe the RSI is forming a bit of a descending triangle here. Ooh, look at that. Look how beautiful that is. If and when we can get above and hold above this resistance line here on the RSI, I think that is when we see bullish continuation in price action. Because see, currently we're getting rejected off this resistance line. But once we can get above this, like maybe perhaps we do something like this, where we go back down, maybe retest it. Whenever it is that we can break above these regions and get above this level here and make a higher high, I think that is when we start to break above these key resistance levels in price action for VeChain. So following that RSI and potential bullish divergence is going to be very important for understanding what the next major move is here for VeChain in the short term. So that's a 12-hour. 12-hour, I'd say it looks bullish, but it's not very convincing. I'm not getting confluence of reasons. I'm not very convinced of anything on the 12-hour. So 12-hour. So we're moving on to the 6-hour. Further weakness. Ooh, look at that. Is that a bearish crossover? Is that a bear? Ooh, it is bearish crossover on the way to MACD. Histogram on the way down. Stochastic RSI on the way down. Again, we might have. We're probably going to retest these regions, in my opinion. So yeah, see RSI, same situation. So let's move over to the 2-hour. Further weakness. Yeah, bearish crossover in the overbought region on the way down. Everything is on the way down. Ooh, again, if we can see, this is the RSI. So I love looking at the RSI. It's very good for understanding shifts and trends. So again, we're forming more of a micro resistance line here. So again, I think we're likely to do something like this with the RSI. Keep holding as resistance. Whenever we can break above that resistance line, I think that is when we get above these key resistance levels here on the 2-hour RSI. So following the RSI in those resistance levels are very good for understanding when the next breakout or next major impulse is. So let's keep looking. 1 hour. 1 hour. Okay, looks bearish, except stochastic kind of curving up a bit here. And let's finish off with a half-hour. So half-hour. And the half-hour looks like it might have some kind of leg up. So to kind of summarize here, daily is starting to show some strength. The mid-hourlies are starting to look weak. It looks like we might have a bit of a leg down here in the short term. So ultimately, I think what's important here is we need to follow these two key support resistance levels, okay? Because we're range bound between strong support and strong resistance within a very narrow range. So we can't move sideways in here forever. We can move maybe sideways for a few hours, a couple days, but eventually, the more time goes on, the likelihood is that we're going to see a breakout. We're going to have to pick a direction eventually. And whatever way we break out of this tight range here, I think will be very telling for the future price action for VeChain. And again, I think a bullish breakout out of this descending triangle, it would make sense that eventually we could retest all-time highs. So this is very interesting. Any one of these green support regions is where I would be looking to dollar cost my way into VeChain. Now, another very important chart to look at is the VeChain Bitcoin pair. Whenever you're looking at whatever currency you're looking at, whether it's Ethereum, whatever it may be, while it's very good and valuable to look at the US dollar value, I think it's also very interesting to constantly be looking at the pairing with Bitcoin, because whenever you look at the pairing, I believe you can find a hidden bullish and bearish divergence, and pairings sometimes act as a leading indicator on the US dollar value for the cryptocurrency. So with VeChain here, we're in this descending triangle, and we seem to be breaking up bullishly as well. We could classify this as some kind of ascending triangle here, where this green line is acting as support. Also, we're forming more of a macro ascending triangle here. So I think if we cannot hold above this green line here. And if we start to break down, I think we're probably likely to retest this green support line here. And if we go for that further leg down, I think that will take us, that I think could be a factor that leads us to break down from this support area and probably go to the next leg down to retest the original breakout point of 355. So yeah, something like that is definitely 100% possible. So whatever big move we see next with the VeChain Bitcoin pairing, I think will be very telling for the future price action of the US dollar value for VeChain. So again, this is a critical support level to look out for. If we see that breakdown, I think we go for that further leg down in US dollar value. If we start to go for that leg up, and if we can continue to hold this green line here as support and tackle these regions here, we can see how here, this was a price reactive zone. So once we can get above this level here, I think we're tackling the kind of 1-3 here, and once we get above that 1-3, I think we're flying. So these are the key resistance levels, these two levels here to look out for VeChain. If and when we can get above and tackle these red resistance levels here, I definitely think that it's going to have an effect on the US dollar value for VeChain. So important chart to look at to understand what's going on, what the next move is for VeChain. As well, Bitcoin dominance. This is always a good chart to look at to try and understand what the altcoins can do. So for those who don't know, Bitcoin dominance is the total value of Bitcoin in comparison to the total value of all cryptocurrency. Whenever it rises, alts typically suffer. Whenever it falls, alts typically benefit. So last few days here, we've been having a bit of leg down. If we see this continue to happen, if we continue to break down and continue falling down in Bitcoin dominance, that should tell you the altcoins such as VeChain have more gas in their tank to continue pumping. If and when we start to rally and go for the leg up and to continue rising in Bitcoin dominance, then that should tell you that's going to place the dampers on the altcoins pumping, such as VeChain. So folks, those are some of my main thoughts with VeChain here in the short term. Long term, I think VeChain has a very good chance of reaching 50 cents to $1 by the peak of this bull run. I do not know that for sure. I 100% could be wrong. I think it's far better to look to scale out more so based off time frames and less so based off price targets. Because look, I believe this bull market is likely to end with Bitcoin September, October this year. If you guys join our Discord, link for that down in the description below. We have posted a chart by Trading Shot who broke down the Bitcoin cycles very well. So Bitcoin moves in 4-year cycles because of the Bitcoin halvings. Okay, Bitcoin's the thing that leads the entire market. And based off the last halving, Bitcoin probably has a good chance of reaching its peak again September, October this year. And if we look at last time around, VeChain reached its peak and the altcoins reached their peak roughly a month after Bitcoin. So I think something similar has a good chance of happening this time around. So I'm going to be looking to scale out slowly over time, just start selling slowly around late third quarter, early fourth quarter in September, October, November. You know, I'll start selling slowly over time. So whatever the market happens to give me around that time, whether that's 10 cents, 20 cents, $1, $5, whatever it may be, I'll just take whatever the market happens to give me, because I think that's probably a better approach. So yeah, folks, look, if anything interesting further happens, we will definitely talking about it on this channel. So don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, share, hit that bell to be notified of new uploads. As well, if you like what we do, you want to support us, consider joining our Patreon. Link for that down in the description below. You get access to our VIP Discord group where we talk about low cap gems, interesting setups. We talk to our Discord members regularly. We have semi-regular coin calls where we discuss the market, answer people's questions with all our Discord members. So folks, join our Discord. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time, take care.